How are we doing, guys and girls, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, thank you for clicking on this video, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. So today's video is something new, something we tried out last year. We were streaming on Mixer, and I was doing a sort of interview style show. Some of the interviews we did were absolutely fantastic, and I thought rather than just let them fade away on Mixer as they do after 2 weeks, I'll download them, and when I get a chance I'll upload them here. And that's what we're doing today with our first episode, where I was pleased and proud to have interviewed Repzilla. If you're a fan of his, he is so open about his life and his past, everything he's been through. It is a fantastic interview. For me as a creator, I feel like I'm always striving to learn new skill sets in, you know, all forms of content creation, whether it's sound or camera work, but I really want to be focusing on interview techniques and how to format content to present a good podcast or TV show style video. So during this interview you'll see a lot of on-screen pop-ups that happen when people subscribe to the channel and things like that. For the first few minutes anyway, until I sort of get a handle on that, you will have a few pop-ups and things that happen, but it's nothing unusual if you're used to streaming. Another thing that I want to work on is my interview techniques, my abilities to present myself as a good presenter and interviewer. I believe that that is something that it doesn't necessarily come naturally to everyone, and I think when some people watch themselves back, they can start seeing holes in their skill sets, and that's what I really want to focus on, is harnessing and refining those skill sets. This is our first interview in this series. Repzilla, absolutely amazing creator. Please go and check out his channel. The link is in the description, and let me know what you think of this down in the comment section. If you like this sort of series, I am going to start interviewing a lot more alternative lifestyle individuals, people who have carved themselves a path in modern professions from all around the world and all walks of life. Starting off, of course, with YouTube creators, as that's my platform and my home. Let's just jump into episode 1. You guys can meet Repzilla and you can see Ron's soon to be evolving interview skills start to take shape. Let's get diving in.
Hello, how you doing there?
We're very well. We're very well. And yeah, thank you very much for coming to join us. This is our first sort of chat show on the platform, where we're just wanting to talk to creators, people that are in an alternative lifestyle from the norm, and certainly YouTubers, creators of all kind of walks of life fall into this. And you know, Repzilla, have to say, we met on the McKinney Manor research train, and have to say it's been very interesting, the chats that we've had. You're a very nice gentleman, and I appreciate you coming on, so thank you once again.
Thank you for having me.
I just want to jump straight in, okay? I just want to jump straight in and just start picking your brain. Tell us how your creator path started.
How my creator path started?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I have to go back to where I messed around with videos when YouTube first came out. Like, my brother was a skateboarder. He was kind of like a child prodigy in skating, kind of like a Ryan Sheckler, if you will. And so I would video him and do things like that. He actually got on. I don't want to go off topic, but he was on the front page of YouTube back when YouTube had a front page type thing.
No, tell us all about it. This is what these shows are about, to be honest with
you.
you.
Yeah, YouTube used to have like a front page thing where they put like the top videos and stuff like that, and they don't do that now anymore, of course. So that was my first experience with like videos and stuff like that. And then I've always been really business oriented in general. So I did a couple back then. I was into skating, so I did a skate park, skate shop thing, and then evolved into selling online. I did I did eBay, Amazon, FBA, different things like that. I've always been really involved with just business type things like that. And I think I started live streaming video games in 2015 with a friend who actually streams on Mixer, Charmin Charlie. And then after that, I sort of was just like live streaming a game called Call of Champions. and I got really good at it, and I went pro in that specific game. And they wanted me. There was like this little type of live streaming program where I think it was called Camcord, and they wanted to pay me to stream on there because of the College Champions games and stuff. And I said, yeah, for sure, I'll do that. And then that's what kind of like put me into doing stuff on the internet. And eventually, I got to where I just really didn't like live streaming that much, but I was also involved in an accident at the time. So it was about 2017. No, it was the first day of 2017, like after New Year's. I got ran over by a car, and when I was in rehabilitation from that, I got to like rethink how I was approaching life, and something changed within inside me to where I no longer wanted to do things that I didn't want to do. I wanted to try at what I wanted to do, because I realized that I could die at any time. So if that could happen at any time, I might as well just go ahead and try on what I wanted to do in life. So when I told a friend, go get me a pad of paper and a pen, and I wanted to do YouTube, which I'd already been, like I said, messing around with YouTube videos. So I started doing YouTube videos, and I did videos on anything that sparked my interest. And then I grew a community from there. And this is all in a nutshell. So if you have any specific questions about that,
yeah, absolutely. Oh, no, don't worry. Like, so how were you still recovering? Were you still bedbound, so to say, when you started putting pencil to paper? Was there a lot of planning from your recovery bed that then, once you were recovered, you started rolling out creatively, or was it more of a this all sort of came to you towards the end, and or whatever? Did you find that outlet in recovery was helpful? Was it like a distraction that?
Generally it was suggested by my doctor at the time, because I was in rehabilitation. When I got hit, I was like in a coma for like 2 weeks, and then I went into, when I woke up and came to, I was like in a rehabilitation hospital in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and so I was in there, and I had to relearn how to walk and how to think. When I got hit, I had a broken leg, a torn meniscus, severe lung contusion, a traumatic brain injury, and some other broken bones. And I had to relearn how to walk and how to think during I was in rehab for like 3 months or so. And it was very difficult to get out of there. Even if you wanted to get out of there, it was probably like one of the most demoralizing things I've ever went through. Is in order for me to get out of there, I had to do something like they would say, name 3 animals. And this was a specific one I remember. They're like, name 3 animals, and I could get to cat, and I couldn't name any after that because the cognitive side of my brain is damaged. So it's like, I can do it now, like cat, dog, kangaroo, and stuff like that. But back then, it's like you know what to say, but you don't know what to say. So it was a big struggle through that. And when I first got out of the rehabilitation center, I was in a deep depression because I couldn't no longer do what I went to college for. And I was suggested by the doctor to why not make videos, since it's something I already like to do. And I was kind of stuck bedbound, sort of. I could like walk and hobble, and or hop on my right leg anyways. And so I started making videos. And since I didn't have anything else to do for like the first year, I made 1 to almost 3 videos every single day. And that's where my audience came from. I guess it was just the consistency of just making those uploads and being there all the time. And once I started getting better, I kind of stuck with the daily uploads for the next year. And I think it's that consistency, and that's pretty much how I started.
Well, I have to say, first of all, I didn't want to interrupt you. Like, that is an incredible story in itself. To survive and go through. So, like, I think a lot of times people, when they say, oh, I was in a car accident or something happened, I mean, that is probably the understatement of the century. You sound like you almost clocked out, Rep. I mean, that sounds like it was one of those, if it had been an inch this way or 5 miles an hour extra, or if you hadn't stopped and talked to someone on the way, or like it just sounds like one of those.
Yes.
There was definitely. That's crazy, dude. Like it's.
I didn't never see the car hit me because I was walking on the sidewalk. Car hit me.
Oh, you were on the sidewalk, so it was like.
I was on the sidewalk. I was walking in front of Chattanooga High School. If anybody's from Chattanooga, Tennessee, right there. It's right before you get to the bridges, and I didn't even see it hit me from behind. But there was a couple on their front porch, and they were the ones that actually saved my life. They were the ones that called the ambulance and like stayed with me until everybody got there. And so, you know, shouts out to them. The craziest thing about it is, and this is this is like almost poetic. Since I didn't experience the pain of that, so I can't say it, because so to me it didn't even hurt. You know, there was pain involved in when I woke up in the hospital. You know, I remember when I first came to, I was wrapped up in a blanket like a burrito, and I couldn't move my legs or anything. So I was flipping out, and I said, I remember I didn't open my eyes, but I remember saying, "How bad is it?" And then the woman said, "You're gonna make a full recovery. Everything's okay. You've broke some," you know, she went through everything. And then I said, "All right, that's all I need to know." And I remember passing back out. And then it's like, okay, I'm full recovery. Sweet. Let's get through this. So, any pain other than that is just, you know, the procedures. They had to give me these.
I'm sorry. Did you say this was 2017 that this happened?
This was 2017. Yes. Yeah.
Holy shit.
I have a scar and everything like that. But
dude, you look amazing considering you got pancaked. Like, let's be honest here. If you got turned into a Repzilla in the hospital, right, less than 2 years ago, you look fucking on point, mate. You're killing it.
Yeah,
you look fire.
A lot of how I look, I feel I want to contribute to the mindset that I already have. Like I have like this crazy mindset where I'm a self-improvement junkie, and I always have been. Well, at least since 2012. And the doctors told me not to run, not to do this, not to do that. And I did it anyway. I don't recommend anybody going against what the doctor says, but they said, do not go running. And I did go running. They said, do not do this. And I did do this. And it hurt like hell, but I still did it anyways. When I first started back to running, it was more like hobbling, and it was very painful. But I think after months and months of doing that, I just built back the strength back up in my legs. I still can't. I go to the gym, but I don't do squats, for example, because my left leg will give out at any time. My strength, I can't do anything. So I do a lot of like lunges and things like that and stuff.
It sounds like you're talking about something that happened 20 years ago. Based on talking with you, watching your content, like there is not a whisper of 2 years ago I got pancaked by a fucking car out of nowhere. Like
if you go back to my videos through 2017 and early 2018, you can tell if you're looking for it that I stutter because of that. It was really worse back then, but you can tell I'm a little bit off, and I was definitely off in the head when I was doing those videos. And I don't even, to be completely honest with you, I don't remember a lot of those videos that I made. I go back and I look at them like I don't even remember making it, because I was like, I can't remember it. So it's pretty crazy. But yeah, you can spot the difference from my content now to my content then. It's just crazy.
That is an incredible story. I mean, to be honest with you, we could sit and probably just talk about just that, and it would be an incredible interview. One thing you just said, you said that you were a self-improvement junkie, and you said, well, at least I have been since 2012. Is there something that happened in 2012 that kind of kick-started this new lust for positivity in yourself?
Well, as far as I can say that I didn't have the best of childhoods. I come from a lot of I love my parents, you know, but there was a lot of like it wasn't good growing up, you know. I was raised primarily by my grandparents, loving grandparents, biggest supporters. But yeah, it was a really rough childhood, and when you grow up in a childhood like that, I was very poor, definitely lower than middle class. So when you grow up like that, you don't get raised the best kind of way. And it's kind of like how there was a lot of stuff that I didn't know, and it all accumulated up into a point where I reached a point in my life where I just got tired of taking L's. I just so tired of losing. Every relationship was a failure. Everything that I was doing was a failure, and I just got so tired of it. So I started, I don't know what started me down the road, but I remember thinking, if everything in my life is not working, then clearly I'm doing something wrong. So I literally decided to do the opposite of everything that I would already decide to do, within reason. For example, I didn't like reading, so I'm gonna start reading. So I started reading, and that was the biggest thing. I started reading books like Eckhart Tolle, A New Earth, Power Now, if anybody knows those books. Anthony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within, and that's what really started me down my pathway. And it was like I wasn't raised right, and these books were kind of like reprogramming my mind and kind of raising me in the type of way. And these people that I was reading kind of became my mentors, and they developed me. And I remember having like multiple epiphanies from the year 2012 to 2013, 14. And it just I already had a work ethic inside me from my grandfather, who's a businessman. So that paired with that, the puzzle pieces just connected, and I've been working my ass off ever since, basically.
Yeah, that's, again, I think a lot of people, especially people when they see this on the main channel, I know a lot of the people there probably from a very similar background to yours, with regards to not having the most fun time growing up. And thank you for kind of sharing that with us, because I know sometimes it's not nice to sort of be dragged, have those memories dragged back up. So,
oh yeah, another thing I should say about
yeah.
that time, these are things that I've been in therapy since my accident, so I've been in therapy over 2 years now. Yeah. And these are things that a lot of the rooted problems that I actually do have stem from my childhood, and these are things that I am working with through in therapy. And if anybody wants to try therapy and stuff like that, I can tell you from firsthand experience. Number one thing is that you might have to go through a couple therapists before you find one that works for you.
Okay.
And once you do find one, not every therapy session is going to be the best. There's times I've went in and I'm like, wow, that did not help. And then there's times I've went in and been like, okay, that's why I go to this. Therapy is there to help you confront issues that do make you feel uncomfortable, and it's all about patience, and
is there a certain element of sort of almost breaking you down to build you back up with regards to therapy? And I'm only asking you that because I've never experienced that. So for me, just to help me sort of understand, I mean, is that an element of therapy, do you think?
No, it's not a breakdown. It's for example, it's facing the truths that you wish that you don't really want to face. Like, there was one time I went in there and I was talking about a relationship with somebody that I ended, and then I talked to the therapist about it, and I was like, yeah, I ended this. I feel so much better about it. And then he said something that made me realize that maybe it was my fault that this person acted the way that they did, that made me want to end the relationship. And then because the thing about it is this person that I was in a relationship with had this a specific type of trauma, and it wasn't something that I was being patient towards.
Okay.
And if it was somebody that I care about, I needed to be patient and understanding for this. And it's also important to note that it all depends on the person. If this certain kind of pressure that this other person has, because maybe they have some really horrible past traumas themselves.
Yeah.
If you love this person, you want to be patient and care for this person and be there for them. If you're able to, this all comes down to person. If you feel like that it's really endangering your emotional and mental well-being, you might need to take a step back for yourself. But it made me realize in this situation that, dang, I wasn't patient and understanding, and I actually do care about this person enough to where I did want to be patient and understanding. So I was like, I feel like crap now. This therapy session sucks. But then I was able to go back, confront the person, and be like, hey, you know what? this was my fault. I'm sorry. That, and this. And I was able to build a better relationship with that person, you know?
Yeah.
So that therapy session was kind of like, you know, facing a hard truth that, hey, you did some wrong. And, you know, but it's always patience. The therapist is never, at least mine, never pushes me to do these things. He never tries to break down and penetrate in the depth of my mind or anything like that. It's more of like he just talks and I'm just listening. And he's very patient. He says stuff, and that's just how it is.
Okay. Well, yeah, thanks for that. That's, like I say, just for me, it's one of those perspectives on the healing process and all of that is just help me kind of understand things. Random question, right? Pulling it back to some randomness, right? Think back, you're 10 years old, okay? What did you want to be when you grew up, Rep? What was 10-year-old Rep's dream, okay? Hit us with it. What did you want to be? You're 10 years old, let's go. And we'll talk about your hair at 10 years old as well after this, because I imagine it's just as wild. But what did you want to be?
Gosh, honestly, this is going to sound crazy.
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to shop at flea markets and yard sales, like with my own money.
Hey, listen, it's so funny because I asked my mum this question, right? And she was like, well, not when I was a little girl, but once I had kids, all I wanted to do was be able to walk into Marks and Spencer's, which is an expensive food shop, and not look at the prices and just buy whatever I wanted. Do you know what I mean? I think it's the same sort of little personal luxury experience thing. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You wanted to trawl these places for the treasures that lay within.
Yes. I wanted to be a treasure hunter. I wanted to do it because me and my grandfather would always go yard selling and flea market and stuff on the weekends, and I wanted to do what he was doing. So in a lot of ways, I guess my grandfather is like my hero because he's like the main person that I looked up to. And I think that he's probably the reason that I am who that I am, really.
Yeah.
I'd contributed most of everything just to him because was the breadwinner in the family. He was the person in the whole family, everybody in the family turned to.
Yeah.
And that's I guess that's something kind of like I would like to be for my family one day.
I don't think a single action happens in your life without a serious bit of thought going into it. Okay, here's one for the YouTube side of you, all right? Over the years, okay, obviously we're in adpocalypse, like whatever, aftermath, okay? I remember when you published your McCaney Manor video, there was elements of how you have to display your information that were mentioned in a video I watched by McJuggernuggets when he was ranting about the issues that I'm going to talk about here. So in your video, you had to do a link to a Google document where you had words and paragraphs that explain things that you couldn't explain in the video. How do you feel, right, when, for example, you're reporting on, that was a fairly mainstream topic at the time. Okay, you've got Chris Hansen. You know who Chris Hansen is, right?
Yeah.
He's written to Susan because he got demonetized for the word predator. Okay,
I'm familiar.
Do you see what I mean? And I think it's going to be because if anyone, right, is going to have some clout on Susan, right, it's Chris Hansen. Surely this is the time, right, to have someone that's going to at least be able to sit down and go, Susan, we need some clarity here. What have you felt, and what have been the major changes for you in your content over, say, the last year with regards to the adpocalypse at the start of the year, all the COPA stuff that's happened over the last couple of months? How difficult is it for you to stay in the green, shall we say?
I never am in the green, man.
You're part of the yellow crew.
Yeah, it's impacted my channel significantly to the point where, like, if it wasn't for my patrons, there's absolutely no way I'd be able to keep doing this at all.
You see, I'm the exact same. I'm loved by my community, hated by the algorithm. It's literally, we should start like a big merch campaign of loved by the community, hated by the algorithm, sort it out, Susan. Do you know what I mean?
I've talked to a lot of other creators about this too, and we've tried every measure possible. Like, we got the review system. I at one point in time tried to always be ahead on my videos. That way I could do a review, and it's difficult for my type of channel to do that because I like to update things when they happen, and so I had to just stop doing that. And the best way for me to get around that was to just wait for the reviews, which can sometimes take up to 3 days. But you're not making any money, not any substantial amounts of money when you're doing that. So the best way for me was to, if I stayed up on daily uploads, the new videos would still bring in people that would go down the rabbit hole of my channel to watch videos that after the review greenlighted them. For me, being monetized on a video, it's not about money. There's a lot of other things.
I know exactly what you're going to say, but carry on. Yeah.
Monetization and having that green light, it has a huge impact on the algorithm and the exposure of your video. So if you're demonetized, your video might not go out to the subscription box. It won't go. Notifications won't go out to everyone.
Correct.
And the algorithm will limit it'll suppress the video. So, for example, on my McCamey Manor video, it ended up being completely demonetized. But during the first 2 days, it shot up to like literally the majority of the views that it has now, which is like 7,000 views. And then you can actually see in the back end of it where it's going up. Like it would have probably got at least 500,000 views or more. The average viewed video was about 20 to 30,000, and then when this stuff started happening, it's now my average viewed video is 10,000. So
yeah, dude,
that's the impact, because there's other things I don't know if you're aware of. They not only did they roll out the monetization demonetization issue, but now they have what's called a P score on your channel.
I do.
And each video has its individual own rating. So it's made it extremely difficult. And who it's made it even more difficult for is anybody that would want to start YouTube this late in the game.
Yep.
It's not impossible, but it's hard. Don't quit your day job.
No.
I don't be mean about that, but you have to have knowledge about what's going on about this platform. And YouTube just keeps making it harder for the new guys to come in.
Yeah.
And even us with like